Hello, my name is Bira Fatal, and today I'm going to show you how to fill out an N5 notice to end your tenancy for interfering with others, damage, or overcrowding. Now, if you want to download the form, you can download it here. Link will be in the description. You're going to scroll down and you're going to click on where it says N5, and then it'll download. Now, with these forms, I always recommend to print it out and fill it out by hand, but let's get right into it. So starting off, I have a quick disclaimer. I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I always recommend consulting a legal professional or the Landlord and Tenant Board. And now we can get started. So when it comes to 2, you would just put the name of the tenant that you want to issue this notice to, and that would be here in the 2 section. Now make sure to fill it out exactly how it was written in the agreement to lease to ensure that this is fully accurate. Now over here for landlord's name, again, make sure to fill it out exactly how you wrote your name in the agreement to lease. And then we're going to go to the rental unit. For this, make sure you put the unit number. Now you're going to see this in a lot of my other videos as well. Unit number is crucially important. You're going to go unit number, street name, city, province, postal code. Now with this form specifically, you have to give them at least 20 days notice if it's the first time they're being served this in 6 months, or if it's the second time being served this in 6 months, you have to give them at least 14 days. Now this is 14 days from the date of you filing this notice. With that said, if it's the first time, for example, and you're filling this out on the 5th of the month, you would have to give them at least to the 25th to leave. And if it's their second time in 6 months, which is a crucial aspect, you would have to give them at least 14 days to leave. So if you're filling it out on the 5th, that would constitute the 19th of the month. So with that done, it's going to be filled out as in day, month, year. Just a quick notice, if you're going to be mailing this notice, it's ideal that you give them at least 5 days on top of the mandatory period so that you can guarantee that they've received your notice. So if you're giving them 20 days notice, you'd have to give them 25. If you're doing 14, you'd have to give them 19 days. With that said, let's get into the reasons. Now, if this is the first time of you serving this notice, for example, for reason 1, your behavior or the behavior of someone visiting or living with you has substantially interfered with another tenant's or my reasonable enjoyment of the residential complex and or lawful rights, privileges, or interests. So if they're just kind of being a nuisance to everyone around them or to the people that are neighbors to this rental unit, this is the reason you would choose. With that being said, if it's their first time, they have 7 days to stop these activities and correct their behavior as described on page 2, which you will be doing in just a bit, or they will be evicted. Now this is always going to be checked off, for example, if this is reason 1. And then if this is the second time you serving them this notice, you would be able to check off this box as well, which would indicate that if they do not correct their behavior in 7 days, you would be able to go to the Landlord and Tenancy Board and get an order for eviction. So first time, second time. Now, if the reason is not reason number 1, if the reason is you or someone visiting or living with you has willfully or negligently damaged the rental unit. So this is if it's damage to your rental unit or the complex. So if it's, for example, damage to the apartment building, you would be filling out reason 2. With that being said, with damages, there is typically a fee associated to pay for those damages. You would write that amount here. You would check this off if it's their first time doing this, and this would be the amount. So if, for example, they damaged something and you can repair it, this is how much they would pay. If it's not something that can be repaired and needs to be replaced, it would go here. So for example, like a hot water heater, it's going to be different prices to fix compared to replace. And then if it is their second time getting this notice, you would check off this box. Here, it does allow you to do both because, again, there's money involved, so they'd still have to pay you that regardless. And then finally, if the reason for filling out this notice is that there are more people living in the rental unit than is permitted by health, safety, and housing standards. Now, you're going to see this quite a bit in rental units that are near colleges or universities. With this, if it's their first time receiving the notice, you have 7 days to reduce the number to whatever the legal capacity is. And then if this is their second time receiving it, you would check off this box, which would also indicate that this is their second notice in 6 months and that they cannot void this notice by correcting the behavior, so they should prepare for eviction. Now, with that being said, when you fill out the reason, you have to tell them exactly why. So be as specific as possible with this. You cannot be ambiguous because if you are, the Landlord and Tenant Board will throw out your case. And with this, I highly recommend write out your reason and just call the Landlord and Tenant Board and ask, is this valid as for the details of the event? They will tell you if it is or it isn't, and then you can just move on from there. With the date and time, again, be extremely precise. If you can, down to the minute. If you can't, give a range of time. With within, like, for example, 10 a.m. to 10:10 or whatever the range of time might be, and make sure you're very accurate with the date. Inaccuracies here will have it be thrown out. Moving on, we have the signature area. So again, this is either you or a legal representative. It's not anyone can represent you. It's only someone with an LSUC can represent you, so a lawyer. And then you fill out your first name, 1 letter per box, last name, phone number, sign this by hand, and date of the notice. So this would be the date you are signing it, and then you would give them that time and you would fill the notice. Now, if you want to know how to serve the notice and you somehow managed to find this video without watching my how to evict a tenant video, I would recommend watching that. And over there, I outline how to serve the notice, what to do for next steps, and so on and so forth. Now, if you're a landlord and you need other real estate related advice, please reach out, and I wish you all the best. Have a good one. Bye now.